So this process sounds really simple when you outline it, but doesn't it get more complicated in reality?
Well, it does kind of get a little bit complicated, but actually, there are some formulas and guidelines to help distributors make that linkage between the profit objective and the key profit drivers. Now, every company is different. Okay? That's a fact of life. But every company is also incredibly similar in terms of what drives profit. So there's some extremely straightforward guidelines to how you make that linkage. In essence, there's a system. Now, these guidelines are too detailed to be discussed here. Let me put in a plug and say they're in my book. But however, let me give you just one example if I could, and that is sales and payroll. If you're going to improve profit, you have to have sales go up faster than payroll. So that's kind of a generic guideline, if you will. And it's not follow the bouncing ball, but it's also not rocket science. They're really very straightforward issues. And one thing I'd like to just kind of emphasize here, the more successful companies are not lucky, they're not bigger, and their management's certainly not any smarter. Okay, if the high-profit companies had smarter management, they'd always go to the same companies all the time. For example, John Corzine's a brilliant guy, but he can't find $2 billion. Very smart, no system. So to me, the key to making this work is to follow a system, but also tie into that kind of formulaic sort of idea, management creativity. How are we going to reach these goals? That's what management really does. And I've tried to say we can make the profit planning part a little simpler, a little bit more formulaic, but management has to come to the party with how we're going to do that. So if we're going to increase sales and gross margin, that's just a wish list. The specific items have to back up how are sales and margin going to be increased, and that to me is really the creative, critical, most important part of the plan.